Hey everyone, welcome into Warp Factor 10, our series on all things Star Trek. I'm your host Expat, along with my co-host Burly Burleman Gaming on Twitch. Burly, how you doing?
I'm doing good, but sadly we have to talk about this Picard episode.
Yeah.
How
Actually,
are
this
you?
time I put a. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. This time I put a Chateau Picard background like you have there as well. I just had to do it because the backgrounds I have with all my posters in the room where I do the recordings and stuff. It's mostly like Star Wars and Marvel related stuff that's on the wall. So I wanted to make it more, Picardish, so to speak. But anyway, this episode, of course, we're going to be giving our recap and reactions to Picard season 2, episode 9. So called Hide and Seek. So we're not going to hide and seek on any of you viewers out there. We promise you that. But we are going to, spill the beans, and we're going to be giving a lot of spoilers during this episode. Of course, that's what we usually do in this series. We do a spoiler recap and reaction to the episode. So this is your warning now that as we move forward, we're going to be talking spoilers for Picard season 2, episode 9. So if you have not watched the episode, please go and watch it before watching this video. So with that said,
Or just
like
watch
we
this
said,
instead. You'll have a lot less pain.
yeah, right. So with that said, let's get to the episode, Burley. So yeah, hide and seek. So yeah, I mean, it's just, let's go over the positives about this show. I mean, Allison Pill, she's been amazing in this
Yes.
this whole series, and she was really good in this episode as well as Annie Wershing. She's amazing as the Borg Queen, and their back and forth in episode 9 was really cool. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
that's been the savior of this season. I think has been the acting quality of these two amazing actresses. I'm really enjoying them. Um, yeah, that's what I want to say for the positives. How about you?
I would agree on that for positives.
Mm-hmm.
The other positive I would say is good old Raffi. I just like him. I like him. Like you get the Kirk vibes from Star Trek 4, the
Yeah,
obvious vibes, but you know what? I don't know what it is, but I like him. He's just charismatic as hell
yeah,
on there.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So let's get to part of the episode where, of course, the Borg Queen, of course, and she has to get her dress back because she was getting tired of walking around in that red dress.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
she goes to once they transport over to the ship, Rios's ship, of course. You know, she goes to the I guess it's kind of like a morgue, and she pops open, where the previous Borg Queen's body was, and she was able to, put her costume on and assume the role of the Borg Queen, so to speak. So Agnes is still kind of, seems to be out of commission in this point, but and then she tries to take over the ship. Obviously, she's got, some of these, mercenaries that she has already, assimilated into drones. Kind of a, not like the Borg drones that we're used to seeing, but kind of like a pretext to the Borg drones, I guess, because I guess the nanoprobes that are in them are not really, juicy enough, I guess.
The beta version of
Exactly,
them.
the beta version of the nanoprobes. Yeah. So, but anyway, so she gets to transport herself onto Rios's ship, of course, and then she tries to take over the controls and everything because she obviously she wants to fly the ship back to the Delta Quadrant and everything. But then, of course, we get, of course, you know, Allison Pill, of course, and the amazing back and forth between her and Annie Wershing, in this episode, where she is not going to let her take control. So, what were your thoughts on this, Burley?
Uh, I I did like their back and forth and them trying to, and Allison just fighting back to get control. I
Hmm.
did like that.
Hmm.
Um, but where the conclusion of all of it, I'm not exactly happy. But I did like the back and forth, and then her trying everything.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was really cool though how Agnes, she just was like ripping on the Borg Queen. It was like saying,
Yeah.
I've been, delving and going through all of the emotional, stuff that's in that mind of yours, and she called it like a mind dump or something like that, just a dump.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Ooh, man, you know, all these millions of worlds and civilizations, just destroying them." And then of course the Borg Queen, her shot back was like, it's like, perfection takes time, my dear. But it's like,
Yeah,
but yeah. So,
and
but
then just
obviously,
reminding her, be like, she's like, well, you do all this, but you still end up in the same location. You're just gonna die out.
yeah,
No,
like
now
over
that
and
I
over
know,
again. Yeah,
now that I know this, I can prepare in 20 years or whatever and
yeah, yeah. But then of
stuff.
course Agnes has like the fail safe, and of course she she calls up Elenor, of course, and Elenor is like a hologram, obviously, because Elenor is dead. But anyway, he's a hologram, and he has the emitter on his arm, like the Doctor in Voyager had. But anyway, what's really weird about this, what I did not like about when Elenor came up, was he goes into the weapons area, the weapons cache, and he's looking around and he sees all these, he sees the disruptors and the pistols and everything. But obviously he has to choose a sword. It's
Yeah,
like, come on, man. I mean, come on. I mean, it's like, get the disruptor. It's much easier, but no, because Elenor, you know, he's just a hologram, but I guess he still has all of his, you know, his you know his skill set and everything, being a Romulan, uh, you know with the sword skills and all. So he has to go at all these the drones with the sword and everything. So what did you think of that, man?
I didn't mind him using the sword. You knew it because it's a whole callback to season one and all that. But
Yeah.
here's my thing. This is just dumb writing. I'm gonna tell you he has the thing, so that way you can target him.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's an okay idea to get them to chase that instead of Picard
Yeah. Yeah.
and the group. But
Hmm.
now the Borg Queen knows what she wants, where what she wants
Yeah.
is. She can eventually, if you give her time, can get it.
Yeah.
So that is just sloppy writing of here. Like they could have done like 20 different things of being like, oh, you think he's got it? He's just a distraction. I've really put it on Picard or something, or someone
Yeah.
else, or Rios or whatever, just to throw them off. Like, come on here. This is supposed to be science fiction. There's supposed to be good writing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this just seemed lazy. Like this is
Yeah.
lazy Michael Bay writing where you don't think and it's
Yeah.
just explosions.
Yeah, and it's like then at of course the battle at the chateau, and all you see all the drones, and now they've got the green laser scopes, like the Borg, they have green laser scopes now, like when the regular drones from the other series, they have the red laser sights coming out of their eye sockets or whatever, but now they have the green scopes and the green laser pointers and everything now. So, and then of course Rios gets he gets shot in the arm, and then they're him and the doctor and her son are transported back to Talon's place and all, and so the doctor starts to use one of Talon's tricorders to heal Rio. So now, of course, she has 25th century knowledge of medical technology to use to be able to heal him. I mean, maybe he taught her on the fly or something. I don't know, but yeah, I thought that was kind of weird too. And then we go back, and then of course, just Raffi and Seven. you know, getting on board the ship and fighting the drones and everything. But before they get to the ship, though, it's like there's that Thelma and Louise moment where it's like, okay, we're gonna go out, we're probably gonna die here, and then they show like an aerial view and they're like running and like hundreds and hundreds of yards with a bunch of drones sitting there with like laser scopes and stuff, and you're telling me that they're gonna make it all the way to the ship. Come
Yeah.
on. I mean, that was so stupid. I mean, that was probably the worst part of the episode for me. It's like, come on, there's no chance in hell in a real world scenario that these two are going to make it that far.
Well, not only just them, but every one of them, because these are supposed to be highly trained military guys. They
Yeah,
only get Rios. They only nick Rios. They don't kill
yeah,
him. They
yeah,
only nick him, and it's nothing that bad,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it's like, seriously,
yeah,
like this was just pulled out of your ass writing. Like
yeah,
this was just so sloppy, and it's like,
yeah.
okay, you could have kill Raffi here, just to like give me that, so that way we have some gravitas here, and it's like, oh
Right,
shit,
right.
because this show has showed me this has no stakes. This show has no stakes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, besides them killing off Elenor, which they will bring back in some stupid way at the end of the season or
Oh,
beginning of
the
season.
timeline. The timeline's going to get repaired. I mean, we have one episode left, and we didn't even get John Delancey at all in this episode. So
Yeah.
he's going to be in the episode as Q, and Q is probably his last act before he dies, so to speak. Is probably he's going to fix the timeline for Picard. Because because we're going to talk about this later in the episode, of course. What happens to the ship and all, but I mean, yeah, I mean, so we get Picard and everything. Picard and Talon, of course, going through the chateau because Sung and I mean, why didn't it's interesting, that Sung is not assimilated. He's just the regular Sung, and he's like got all these drones and everything, and he goes into the chateau after Picard and Talon, and he goes farther down into the basement, and then we get to the part of the episode which, was pretty dramatic in a sense because we get into the psychological aspect of what was going on with Picard in his early life, and we finally get a conclusion on what happens to his mother. So, what did you think of that part, Burley?
That part just I'm not gonna lie, the flashbacks to his home life, I
Yeah,
I have grown to hate in this show. They are just so boring. And
yeah,
it's like stuff we didn't need to know,
yeah.
or like,
But where is his brother in all
yeah,
of
I was gonna
this?
say because isn't his brother is like Remy or something like that?
Yeah, his brother is his older brother. I mean, where
Yeah,
is he in all of this? He should be in this, but
yeah.
it's just another instance where they've just taken another form of a timeline and just put something together and not thought about what they wrote 20, 30 years ago when they did Next Generation.
Well, it's not the same writers as Next Gen, and
Uh-huh.
they haven't fully watched Next Gen.
Yeah,
Let's be
yeah,
honest.
yeah,
They've probably they've seen the memes.
yeah,
We know they have,
yeah,
because you've got that. There are four lights. I am Locutus of Borg. So they did the quick 2 minute Google search to get that stuff. That they have,
yeah,
and they're like, "Ooh, John Delancey. People liked him, so we'll get him back."
yeah, yeah,
That's what they have.
yeah. But
But like,
anyway, go ahead.
this whole home life, you knew from every other flashback of how they're telling about like how his mother was and all this.
Yeah,
You saw this all coming. Like, this was no thing, especially early on in the flashback. His father goes to his mother and being like, "You're actually doing good today," and all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, that's
It's a
just
good
like,
day.
it's like, okay,
Yeah,
she's going downhill in 10 minutes, and then they go down. She's like, "Let's play a game.
yeah. Let's play a game. Yeah,
Hide and seek. I'm going to take you down in a crypt,"
yeah,
which I don't care if you're 10 years old or 15 or 20. That's just fucking creepy. Like, I ain't going to go into a crypt unless I have to.
Yeah.
and I'm 30. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I'm gonna take my kid into a crypt, play hide and seek, and there's bodies and shit in the wall, stick it out. And stuff. It's like fucking, and then her son gets lost, scared,
Uh-huh.
and all that,
Yeah.
and then his father has to come down get him, and then
Yeah.
is like, okay, my wife's nuts. I gotta
Yeah.
lock her in a room
Yeah. Yeah.
because I've sent Remy away because I can't. Remy's the one son I really care about, and I want him out of this family.
Well, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's like, where was he? I don't know. But anyway, we get closure on this at least, so we see what happens to his mother and all, and the traumatic effects it left on him through his life, which of course we never knew about in the Next Generation, because that never came up. But then, of course, we get back to, of course, Sung and his drone mercenaries. They corner, Picard and Talon, of course, and they're about to kill him and all. And then, of course, dun dun dun, of course, Raffi shows up again and saves the day. And then he throws that disruptor pistol into Sung's hands, or Sung gets it, right? And then it's like it's supposed to blow up and all, and then Sung throws it in
Mhm.
the air and it blows up, but nobody dies.
Nobody dies. Nobody gets even hurt.
Yeah.
Like that's the
Uh,
thing. You could have at least given an end to Sung there and given us something, but no, because you have to have next episode.
right.
We gotta
Right.
spend 2 minutes with him and Corey meeting again
Well, no, he's
somehow.
still going to try to disrupt the launch of the Europa mission in some way.
Yeah, I
So they
know,
have
but
to stop him. Yeah. So
they have to stop him.
yeah.
But like I meant, you still have to have that, but you're gonna have to bring Corey back
Yeah.
because you've wasted so much.
Yeah. And then, of course, the fight with the Borg Queen, of course, Elenor, and the Borg Queen, they fight, and of course, finally they get the best of Elenor, or the Borg Queen gets the best of him and all, and then she impales Seven, and you would think that, okay, she's going to bleed out, she's going to die, but of course, obviously not. Of course, she, assimilates her back, and of course now she looks like she did, pre, timeline that they're in now. But that's just the thing. And we were talking about this before we were recording, about how this is like supposedly the 25th century, and discrimination still exists in a sense. Like, we love Star Trek in the sense that, the famine is gone, the acquisition of wealth doesn't exist anymore. But from what we see here with Seven, and people that were assimilated by the Borg and have been you know re-assimilated back into human society, they are shunned, and because you know they were Seven was talking to Rafi in the episode about, you know, I was going to join Starfleet, and we get a Voyager reference, of course, where, Seven was talking to Rafi about Janeway was, pushing really heavily to get Seven into Starfleet, and she almost resigned. Janeway almost did because of that, but the discrimination against, people who had been assimilated by the Borg, they were so scared of them, I guess. And Seven, was like that. And so in this season, what was interesting about Jerry Ryan's character of Seven is, she didn't have these implants on her face anymore, and she was able to walk around 21st century Los Angeles and nobody would give her a second look, because she didn't have those implants anymore. But now that she's been, of course, to save her life, the Borg Queen had to assimilate her again, and now she has those Borg implants back in her face, like she did at the beginning of the season before they went into this new timeline. So, what did you think of that, man?
Yeah, as I said, this does not sound like Starfleet. Them to not accept her, especially after Janeway. Janeway. Even though I haven't watched a ton of Voyager,
Yeah,
Janeway's gonna fight for hell for her. So
yeah,
this is,
yeah.
and Starfleet is all accepting and all this, and
Mm-hmm.
because for those that don't know, if you haven't watched classic Star Trek,
Mm-hmm.
this is a future written where we've all solved our problems and all this, and a
Yeah,
better future, and it's a promise for what we could become in all this.
Right. Right.
And I cannot buy Starfleet would do this.
Yeah.
This is not. This is written by Alex Kurtzman and them. They
Yeah.
don't know what Star Trek is.
Yeah. So,
I,
well,
I will.
I will say this though. That's one thing I do agree with Rafi in this season. That's one thing that she said. She would have made a good captain.
Oh
And I
yeah.
agree with that. I think Seven would have made an awesome captain. You know, she would have
Oh
been a
no.
great officer in Starfleet, I think. But
I definitely agree.
I mean, if Picard as Locutus can be reincorporated back into Starfleet and be a captain with all that knowledge of the Borg and their technology, why couldn't Seven? She would have been an amazing
Exactly.
officer, you know, and have her you know her thoughts and perceptions on what the Borg are thinking about and everything. So yeah, I mean,
Hey, they let the Ferengi in. They're gonna let in a
yeah,
and the
with
the
Nog,
Ferengi
yeah,
they let well Nog is awesome, but like
yeah,
Ferengi are mostly known for just for profit and all that.
right, right,
that's that's all they care,
yeah,
and acquisition and all that.
right,
If they're
right,
letting that in, you gotta be kidding me.
exactly, exactly,
Like this is something
yeah,
that was just so bad. And you knew she was going to get her implants. It was just a matter of if when we go straight to the future or just before.
yeah,
So yeah, it's not surprising that she was going to get her implants. She
yeah,
got them back. It's
yeah.
just like, ugh.
And then of course, like Allison Pill, of course, her character, of course, and the Borg Queen, it's they're like talking to each other before they take off, and you know, uh, she's Allison Pill, of course, is amazing actress that she is. She's as Agnes, of course, uh, getting the Borg Queen to side with her on something, and that's well, let's make a new Borg collective, and a collective that doesn't just assimilate people against their will. People who are for example in need or something like that, or are willing to be assimilated or something like that. And it's just what the heck, they're still being assimilated. It's like they're losing
Yeah.
their individuality. I mean, come on. I mean, it's like we're going to make a better Borg. We're going to make a peaceful Borg. It's I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Well, why change the Borg? You've now changed the fundamentals of the whole Borg,
Yeah.
and that the Borg Queen is just going to allow this and just be like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
like you have not read or you've not watched anything Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, at
And it,
first she's all resisting and everything, but then at the end, she's like, oh, okay, I think I can agree with your proposal. It's just come on, man. You know. So let's get into the kind of the very end of this, though. What's
yeah,
interesting is, of course, the Borg Queen throws kind of a riddle out there in a sense, and it's basically there has to be two Rene Picards. One must live, one must die. So I don't. I mean, obviously this next final episode of season 2 is going to be about the Europa mission and what happens during the Europa mission. So maybe that's how they get back to their previous timeline, is that Rene Picard in one of those dies, and then in one that she survives. And I guess the one that she survives obviously is the one where they go back and they set the time, you know, how the Federation isn't all back to the way it was before they left. Whereas the one that dies, maybe that's, the one that brings the new Borg, to, Picard at the beginning of the season. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Burley? One must
uh,
live, one must die. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not. This like I'm trying to think what that how they'll actually bring another one, because they're gonna just pull something so stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe they go to Sung's lab, do a fucking clone quick. Corey shows them the lab, they do a fucking genetics clone.
Okay.
What the
Uh-huh.
fuck? No, like
Yeah.
I can see see, I'm saying stupid and ridiculous shit,
Yeah.
but if I'm actually right on this, it's like, oh
Uh-huh.
god, because I could you could see it, Ken.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
You could see it, can't you?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, so the question has to be answered, you know, who is behind this costume here? You know, I mean, is it, you know, is it Agnes? Probably it is. But
Oh.
then who knows? Maybe it's the other Rene Picard that supposedly dies, you know, maybe because you hear that look up, you know,
Mhm.
when this episode happened and this scene happened, you saw this and you heard her say, you know, look up to Picard, right? And who said look up? You know,
His mother.
his mother, but Picard had also during that conversation at the gala had also said that to Renee. Said, you know, my
Yeah.
mother used to tell me, look up at the stars, look up, you know. So I don't know, man. I have no idea. I mean, we're gonna find out. I mean, because this has to be concluded next week. I mean, it's just, you know, or
Oh,
this
it
week
has
actually,
to.
as we
This because these are like 40-minute episodes.
yeah.
How slapped together, how quick is this just going to go to get to the end where we need to go back to the future?
Yeah, and I think the final episode you were saying, Burley, the minute count is like 48 minutes, I think it is. In the final episode. It's close to 50 minutes, but it's in the 40s. So yeah.
40s. Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, we shall see. So we'll be looking forward to watching that and see what finally happens at the end of season 2. And then of
I don't
course
know about looking forward to watch it. I'm like, I'm just waiting to see because this show has jumped the shark
well,
already.
I'm looking forward to how it concludes with the Borg Queen. I mean,
Yeah.
like who's behind that suit? You know, I
And
just that's what I want to see the most. I mean, obviously they're probably going to get back to their time and things are going to be the way they were before everything else happened. With Rios too, I'm a little excited to see whether it's like Star Trek 4 and he brings the doctor and her son back with them and you know maintains the relationship with her and her son, or does he stay back? Which yeah, I'm kind of
either ending, I'm
thinking.
happy for.
Yeah, I'm thinking the former though. I think it's going to be like Star Trek 4, where
Okay.
the you know the doctor and the son from the past come to the future, you know, with Rios. But yeah, we shall see. We're looking forward to recording the next episode, the final episode of Picard season 2, episode 10, and Burley, Star Trek Strange New Worlds is going to be premiering the same night as Picard. So we're going to be kind of doing a double header in a sense when it comes to recording. We're going to record, of course, Star Trek Picard season 2, episode 10, the final episode, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds season 1, episode 1. We're going to be doing that this coming week. Actually, we'll be doing it at the beginning of next week, recording that for you. So looking forward to watching those at the end of this week. So yeah. All right. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleman Gaming. So this has been Warp Factor 10, our Picard Season 2, Episode 9, recap and reactions, spoiler recap and reactions. So we hope to catch you in the next episode as we go over the final episode of Picard Season 2. So take care, everyone. Peace out. Live long and prosper.
Bring back the real Borg.